Hey YouTube, this is Sam. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a ranked list of all 17 fragrances from the Labo Classic Collection. This is the Discovery set, which includes all 17 scents, and I also have, as a bonus, 2 additional scents from Labo that are being retired now. So today I'm going to do a ranked list from 19 to number 1 of all the fragrances in the Classic Collection by Labo. As a bonus, this Discovery set is actually a special deal that they run at Labo where you can buy for the cost of basically one full 100ml bottle, a gift card for a 100ml bottle plus the Discovery set, so you can smell all of them and then pick the one that you want. So that's what I did, and at the end of this video, number 1 will be the fragrance that I've actually decided on and purchased a full bottle from Labo. Kicking off at number 19, it's Santal 33. And I don't put this here to joke on people. I know that this is far and away probably the best seller for Labo. It's just not for me. I don't think it's terrible, but there's a thing that people say that this perfume smells like. I'm not going to ruin it for anybody out there who doesn't know what it is, but it smells like that to me, and I just don't find it to be wearable for that reason. I have smelled it on other people though, in the air. Actually on an airplane once, I sat next to a woman who was wearing it, and she smelled absolutely fantastic. I had to ask her what she was wearing. But this one is not for me. I wouldn't ever wear it, and it comes in at number 19. Next up at number 18 is Matcha 26. And I want to preface this by saying that for some of these down at the bottom of the list, I'll talk about them less because if I didn't like them that much, I probably didn't wear them that much. But Matcha for me is kind of a woody, slightly fruity, slightly aroma chemically scent. I liked it less than Noir. It felt a little bit unimaginative and just a little bit kind of like mall brand perfume to me. I'm not saying it's bad, but it wasn't for me at all. That's Matcha 26. Alright, at number 17 we have Neroli 36. This one is fine. It's a citrus perfume, which I think smells nice in the opening, and the heart is kind of interesting with some more floral notes. But there's a strong aquatic or marine undertone here, and I'm very sensitive to cologne, the chemical, the aroma chemical that they use to make things smell beachy or aquatic. And so this for me is a no. I don't think it's a bad perfume, but definitely not one of my favorites. That's Neroli 36. Number 16, Tonka 25. This one was one that I was really excited to try. In fact, it was the first one out of the Discovery set that I put on and wore to the office, which was kind of a big mistake because I didn't smell it beforehand except for on a card. And I put on a fair bit, and I really didn't like it. Tonka 25 doesn't smell to me entirely like what it's advertised as, which I know is the case for a lot of Labos. But instead of a Tonka kind of sweet vanillic fragrance, this for me was a very sharp cedarwood and orange blossom perfume. I got no sweetness, no muskiness, and in fact it was very much like a kind of a sawmill cedar and kind of a cloying orange blossom note. It's interesting because these two notes in particular I find are present and prevalent in a lot of Labo's better fragrances, and this is kind of the distillation of that. It's just orange blossom and cedar on my skin, and I really didn't like it. It ranks above some of those other ones because I can see how it might be attractive to other people, but it definitely wasn't for me. Anyway, that's Tonka 25. Okay, number 15. This is Baie 19. And now we're getting into a phase of the list where these aren't things that I dislike. These are just kind of meh ones to me. Baie 19, I had higher hopes for it than where it came in the ranking, obviously. This is based on juniper berries. And I've heard a lot of people actually think that Baie 19 means bay leaf. But I'm pretty sure the Baie here is French for berry, and the berry they're referencing is juniper berry. I do get a nice juniper berry in the opening. I think that there is some of this petrichor accord, which is kind of like the scent of rain on earth or the scent of rain on concrete. There is some of that there, but mostly it's kind of an ozonic patchouli fragrance for me. A little bit reminiscent of the original Narciso Rodriguez For Him by Francis Kirkjohn. And I own that, and I don't wear it very much. Anyway, Baie 19 is lovely, but it ultimately didn't make the top 10 for me. Alright, at number 14 we have Jasmin 17. And this is a floral, a white floral. I don't know if it is entirely a jasmine scent. There's definitely jasmine in there. To me, it's very fruity in many ways, and very sweet. It's got some vanilla in it. It's a little bit girly for my taste, and I could see it being really beautiful on someone else. But in fact, I've seen a few other people reference this as kind of smelling like Fruit Loops, actually, and I can totally see that. Anyway, it's just not my style, and so it comes in at number 14. Next up at number 13, we have Noir 29. This is another one of the heavy hitters from the brand, one that's really popular and one that's been recommended to me several times. It ended up here because I like the fragrance. I think it is very creative and very well done. For me, it's a lot about tobacco, a very well done tobacco without a lot of sweetness. It's also got a heavy, heavy rose note in a really interesting way that's kind of ozonic. The whole fragrance is very reminiscent of autumn, I think, which is not what I was expecting. I don't know that I get a lot of black tea out of this, but I understand why some people might get that feeling. The reason it ended up kind of far down on the list at number 13 is this is a powerhouse fragrance. I found it to be very, very strong, and I sprayed just a tiny amount on my skin and I felt it became very cloying pretty quickly, and it has not been warm weather or anything here, so it's just the juice is very, very strong. It's also got kind of an aroma chemical-y feel that made it not so nice, and I also find it to be very feminine in a specific kind of millennial Gen Z Instagram TikTok kind of way. Anyway, that sounds very harsh, but I actually think it is a very pretty, very unique fragrance. It's Noir 29. Alright, at number 12, this is Ambrette number 9. This is one of the Labo scents that I think really does smell like the thing that it is named after. This is a very unique, interesting Ambrette fragrance with that kind of medicinal, musky, fruity smell. I actually think it's quite nice. I have read in various places that this fragrance was developed with mothers and babies in mind, and I could see that. It's very soft, and as a result, I think it gets a lot of hate on the internet because people think that it doesn't last or that it doesn't project, but I found that to be not the case. I wore this for a full day and I didn't apply that much, and I could smell it all day long. I think the thing with musks is they may be skin scents, but they will last forever, and I found that to be true with this. I also think, though, that although it wasn't a big projector at all, it was very, very close to the skin. I got definite wafts of Ambrette number 9, and I think it has good or great sillage even. Anyway, so I think that this one is unfairly bashed. Still, it comes in at number 12. That's Ambrette number 9. Alright, at number 11, it's another 13. And you'll see that some of these vials are screw top vials and some of them are spray atomizers. This is a note, though. The spray vials from Labo are terrible. They don't work half the time. So I'd rather actually have the Dauber vials if given the choice. Anyway, another 13 is probably the second most popular from the brand. It's supposed to be just an aroma chemical kind of fragrance, and I found it to be well executed. It's not my genre at all. It's not something that I'd be interested in, but it does smell nice. It smells like pear, which is a thing that gets tossed out a lot, and I am not normally attracted to that note at all. But this was a very nice, airy, fruity, flirty fragrance, and the idea here is that it is, kind of a take on another theme for Le Labo. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some themes that I found with Le Labo. The first is that where these perfumes all excel is the smell in the air, the sillage. So I could tell when wearing each of these that people around me were noticing the fragrances because they have a wafting power. So maybe they weren't blasting off my skin in a projection kind of way where, I'd be sitting and somebody could smell me across the room. But I could feel as I would walk that I was leaving a trail with a number of these, especially with something like Another 13, which is based on Ambroxan and Isoe Super. So I think they do that very well. And this is number 11, but as we enter the top 10, my favorite fragrances from this collection, another thing that I noticed is that a lot of them recall some very classic perfumery, but done in a very updated, spare, modern way. And in particular, I think that a lot of Le Labos remind me either broadly or specifically of Chanel, but translated into a way that is a little bit in line with the Le Labo aesthetic, which is kind of spare and unfinished, cold, metallic. And I really liked that about those that are going to appear in the top 10. Anyway, coming back to Another 13. This is a nice fragrance. I can understand why it's so popular. It wouldn't be for me, and it's ranked at number 11. Okay, kicking off the top 10 is Patchouli 24. This one is really good, and it may have actually ranked higher had it not been for the fact that I just bought a full bottle of something that is very similar. That perfume being Cartier's La 13e Heure by Mathilde Laurent. That perfume and this, Patchouli 24, are said to be almost like dupes of each other. I don't know that that's true, but they are very, very similar. I'd say Patchouli 24 is a little bit smokier, but they both dry down to a woodsy, leather, birch tar, patchouli vanilla kind of combo. This one is definitely a little bit more campfirey. A lot of people who review Patchouli 24 say that they get kind of like a barbecue note in there, like barbecued meat. I wouldn't go that far, but I could see how you could make the jump. Still, I think that it's really unique. I think it's really good. And if I didn't have this other perfume by Cartier, I might have considered this one for a full bottle. Anyway, number 10, that's Patchouli 24. Next up at number 9, we've got Lee 41. This is where you come to realize that the naming convention of Le Labo is not all that it's cracked up to be. Essentially, the name of the fragrance, in this case Lee 41, is supposed to be indicative of the perfume ingredient with the highest concentration in the formula, with the number after that being the number of total ingredients. Lee or Lily is not an actual essential oil. Lily is a smell that has to be recreated in a lab or recreated with other notes to kind of resemble a lily in nature. So Lee 41 is instead kind of a white floral bouquet. I thought that this one was really interesting because it doesn't recall a specific white flower for me. And in fact, I don't really get a lily of the valley. I don't get tuberose, which a lot of people do. But I get a nose-tinglingly authentic, fresh white flower feeling. At the same time, there are touches that are kind of beachy or tropical or solar, and it also dries down to a wonderful vanilla musk. So it has a lot of traditional perfume, women's perfume elements in it. But the thing I really liked about it is that it has this kind of architectural feel where it's very abstract and a little bit severe. And I don't know what it is that makes it that way, but it intrigues me, and I'm interested to learn more about it. Anyway, at number 9, that's Lee 41. Okay, we're really getting into the good ones at this point. This is number 8, Iris 39. And this one definitely recalls Chanel for me. It's a very complicated floral perfume. This one opens up with a lot of bright purple flowers, iris, and candied violets. And then the mid notes is where it really shines, and it's super tropical. It's boozy, lime, ginger, iris. There's some civet in there. It's really kind of like South Pacific in feeling. And then it dries down to something that's kind of a shift, where it goes to being a white musk, kind of a lipsticky iris, some cardamom, a big rose. It just goes for a million twists and turns. And in a way, it reminds me of something like a number 22, but kind of just like with the intensity turned up to 11 and the colors super saturated. This Iris 39 is one of the ones that's going to be discontinued from Le Labo. They're no longer offering it for sale on the website, although you can kind of still see it there. But my feeling is that from the sales associates I talked to, if you go to a Le Labo boutique and they still have the essential oils on hand, they'll still make you a bottle. And they're certainly still doing refills on it. I would actually really, really love to have some of the bath products in Iris 39, because although I don't know if it's a scent that I would reach for a daily wear kind of thing, because I just don't know that I have a situation that fits it, even though it's so beautiful. This would be an incredible bath experience. I would love to have the shower gel in Iris 39. And that's another thing I really appreciate about this brand, is that for many, if not all of the fragrances, they produce corresponding shower gels and body products in the same fragrance, which I just think is awesome. Anyway, at number 8, it's Iris 39. All right, at number 7, we have the other retiring Le Labo fragrance. This is Oud 27. Now, a lot has been said about this. A lot of people have a really visceral reaction to it, where they say that it smells fecal or really super dirty or moldy. Honestly, I don't think it's that dirty. And I think that this one in particular, it kind of struck me towards the 6th or 7th hour of wearing it. It reminds me a lot of Chanel No. 5. It opens up kind of stinky. I get where people are coming from. It opens up very animalic with civet and ambergris and castoreum and oud. So the beginning is a little bracing, but it really dries down to something that's pretty nice, with a rose that's kind of indistinct and fuzzy. Lots of musk, some woods, and honestly, by the end of the wear experience, Oud 27 is really kind of indistinguishable from a lot of other Le Labo bases, which are really, really heavy on that cedar, ambroxan kind of combo. I would actually consider picking up Oud 27. I liked it a lot. The two things that I would consider, though, are that it is being discontinued. So that's part of kind of why I want it so much, I think, is because you always want those things that you think are disappearing. On the other hand, I don't know that I'd have a lot of occasions on which to wear this, and I already have quite a few perfumes that I can't wear to work and aren't necessarily date night fragrances. So maybe I'll just grab a few more samples of Oud 27 while it's still around, but I thought it was a really, really nice effort. Anyway, at number 7, that's Oud 27. Number 6, Rose 31. And you can see that this vial is empty, and I also went through another vial of Rose 31. I am a rose lover, and I really thought at the outset that Rose 31 was going to be my full bottle buy from this set. This is another one of their older perfumes, and it's one of their more popular ones. It is famously a dirty rose with a lot of cumin and smoky gaiac wood, some cedar, ambroxan, incense, a lot of vetiver. So it's a great option for a masculine rose fragrance, or a beginner rose as well. However, the more and more I wore it, I found that it did overlap with several other rose perfumes that I already own, which kind of knocked it down a few spots in the ranking. In my second vial, I found it to be very sweet. And I don't know if that's just this batch. And I do find that the Le Labo fragrances tend to change a lot batch to batch. I don't know that they have great consistency between batches. Obviously, since each one is handmade, you're going to get more inconsistency than if you were having all of your perfume bottled in one factory in France. That being said, it is here at number 6. I think it's beautiful. I think if you don't have a ton of rose fragrances, that this might fill a niche for you. It's number 6. It's Rose 31. Number 5 is Vetiver 46. This one was excellent. To me, it's actually extremely similar to Rose 31, but kind of without the rose. It's a big vetiver with even bigger incense note, frankincense in this case, which is green and spicy and aromatic, which complements the vetiver wonderfully. The interesting part about it, I think, is in the base, it becomes very vanillic, and Le Labo has a wonderful way with vanilla where it's not, cloyingly sweet, but it's a soft, kind of ethereal vanilla. And here it actually goes a little bit boozy, which I totally was not expecting from a vetiver fragrance, which we normally think of as being kind of earthy and, male. The only other thing about this is that I think there's a cardamom or something in here that gives it a little bit of a blue fragrance edge, which I don't know that I loved. So that's why it doesn't make it to a full bottle for me. But I think it's a wonderful take on vetiver, and very happy I got to smell it. That's number 5, vetiver 46. Number 4 is Ylang 49. This one was just so good. It's all about base notes seemingly. It's got a great Ylang and Patchouli opening, but then it goes to a heart that's some more patchouli and also some vetiver and some white florals, probably a gardenia, and in the base you get kind of like a benzoin and sandalwood, and it's a little bit smoky, a little bit mossy. It's not really tropical, but to me this is very kind of like old Hollywood, Beverly Hills Hotel, chaise lounges and dramatic stairs. It's very evocative. I like it a lot. This is a gorgeous floral chypre. It's number 4, Ylang 49. Number 3 is Bergamot 22. And this is another big seller for the house, I know, and I see why. It is a beautiful citrus fragrance. Interestingly for me, I think that the bergamot opening is nice, and it recalls for me like an ice cold can of Sprite poured over ice. It's beautiful, sweet, fizzy, sharp, and green, with a beautifully executed lime note. But what's even better for me is the base. The base is an incredible cedar vanilla 1-2 punch. It lasts forever. This is the fragrance that illustrates better than any other why you can't trust reviews on a site like Fragrantica, because this is pilloried for its poor lasting power. But this fragrance, I kid you not, will last on me from the time I put it on until I shower it off. It's very, very good. It's very tasty. It was a serious contender for the full bottle. Anyway, that's number 3, Bergamot 22. Okay, y'all, at number 2, it's Fleur d'Oranger 27. This was a shocker for me because I'm not particularly drawn to citrus scents or to white floral scents. And on review sites, people really aren't digging this one. But I was blown away by Fleur d'Oranger. Fleur d'Oranger 27 is the best representation of an orange blossom scent that I've ever encountered. It smells very realistically of fresh orange blossoms unfolding on warm air, which if you live in California, you know would be an incredible scent. Fleur d'Oranger also does a really great job of capturing the slightly animalic nature of an orange blossom. It also has a sharpness and an abstractness and a severity about it that is it's so punishingly kind of orange blossom and in your face, and electric that it takes it away from being a purely feminine scent and makes it something that's really genderless, which I appreciate. I will definitely be getting a full bottle of this one because I think it's an incredible scent for the summer. It has great lasting power, and the base is a very simple but incredibly enjoyable musk. That's number 2, Fleur d'Oranger 27. Okay, and at number 1, the scent that I chose as my full bottle from this set is Labdanum 18. So I surprised myself by picking Labdanum 18 because it was not one that when I first sniffed it, I anticipated it would be the one at all. It is very classic smelling in that it is essentially a powdery, musky scent. Labdanum is kind of the base of all amber accords, but I don't actually find this to be an amber perfume. This is a powdery, musky, animalic scent. And I hesitate to say animalic because I'm not really a fan of in-your-face, stinky things for the sake of being stinky. I don't think that this is stinky, although there's definitely some castoreum, some civet in there, some of the woods that make it feel kind of, just kind of like a body. But that's just it. It's not stinky. It smells to me like a human. It also smells to me like a human from another era. And in this case, I'm thinking like the 1940s, kind of like Hollywood golden era with, men and women who smoked and who maybe they didn't wear as much deodorant. Maybe they wore some powder instead. There's an element of this that's kind of greasy, like hair pomade. There's also something that's fairly medicinal and camphorous about it, which I think is actually what the labdanum is contributing here. It's spicy in a way to me that recalls like a Chinese apothecary with kind of like strange herbs that you don't really know what they are, but they're warm and intoxicating almost. I just have really, really enjoyed Labdanum 18. I have had a ton of fun going through the Le Labo Discovery set, and I hope you've had a fraction of that fun watching this video. So thanks for joining and sticking with me, and I look forward to seeing you next time.